Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Deepika Mehtu, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vows to continue Rafah operation after US freezes bomb delivery. IDF claims to have sufficient armaments for its operation. Prime Minister Netanyahu hopes to overcome disagreements with President Joe Biden. UK exits recession, recording the fastest growth in nearly 3 years. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak welcomes the data ahead of elections. Campaigning for the fourth phase of election gains momentum. Political leaders hold rallies and road shows across the country. And BCCI to release advertisement for new India coach soon. Current coach Rahul Dravid's tenure to end in June this year. So those were the top headlines of the hour that we are tracing for all our viewers here on DD India Live. And now let's begin with the top news of the day. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Friday said that he hopes to overcome disagreements with US President Joe Biden over the conflict in Gaza, while reiterating he would continue to do everything needed to protect Israel.
I've known Joe Biden for many years, so 40 years and more. We often had our agreements, but we've had our disagreements. We've been able to overcome them. I hope we can overcome them now, but we will do what we have to do to protect our country, and that means protect our future.
In an interview to a TV channel, Netanyahu said Israel has destroyed 20 of Hamas's 24 terrorist battalions, noting that the remaining 4 are in Rafah, and so Israeli forces have to enter the region. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel can stand alone if needed, adding that the country was prepared to fight with fingernails if necessary. Netanyahu's comments came after US President Joe Biden warned that the United States would pause weapon supplies if Israel moved into Rafah. US has already paused a shipment of weapons to the country.
We are determined and we are united in order to defeat our enemies and those who want to destroy us. If we need to stand alone, we will stand alone. I have said that if necessary, we will fight with our fingernails. But we have much more than fingernails, and with that same strength of spirit, with God's help, together we will win.
The United States said it believes a major military operation in Rafah would weaken Israel's position in hostage talks with Hamas. U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said Washington continues to engage with Israel on amendments to a ceasefire proposal submitted by Hamas.
We actually think that a Rafah operation would weaken Israel's position, both in these talks and writ large. We've talked about this before, that a major military operation in Rafah would further weaken Israel's standing in the world, would further create distance from its partners in the region who actually share Israel's goal of seeing Hamas defeated and want to see Hamas replaced with a different governance structure in Gaza.
Now, with Gaza land routes hard to access and not fully operational, Jordan has led a coalition of Western and Arab air forces that is focusing on airdrops in northern Gaza. Air Vice Marshal of Britain's Royal Air Force in Cyprus said the airdrops through Jordan are an incredibly effective way to distribute aid in Gaza. He said Britain's Royal Air Force had made its 11th airdrop on Thursday close to Gaza's seashore, as it is considered to be the safest area. Britain is also helping speed up operations of a Cyprus-inspired maritime corridor where a pier will be placed off the Gaza coast and should be operational soon. The United Nations General Assembly is likely to vote in a draft resolution that would back Palestinians' bid to become a full United Nations member. The Assembly will further urge the UN Security Council to reconsider the matter favorably. The Palestinians are reviving their bid to become the 194th member of the United Nations after the US vetoed it in the UN Security Council last month. The criminal hush money trial against former US President Donald Trump resumes on Friday at the end of a dramatic week that saw almost 2 days of testimony from adult film actor Stormy Daniels. As Donald Trump's defense team finishes its cross-examination of adult film star Stormy, the former US president is set to return to the court on Friday as prosecutors prepare to call their final witnesses in the first ever criminal trial of a sitting of former US president. Friday's proceedings are expected to kick off with more cross-examination of Madeleine Westerhout, the former White House aide who testified about checks Trump signed in the Oval Office on a meeting that he scheduled with Cohen early in his 2017-2021 presidency. Trump denies having sex with Daniels and has called the case of a politically motivated effort to interfere with his campaign to win back the White House in the 5th of November US election against his Democratic opponent, President Joe Biden. US President Joe Biden's administration is poised to unveil a sweeping decision on China tariffs as soon as next week. As per Reuters quoting Bloomberg's report, the decision is the culmination of a review of so-called Section 301 tariffs first imposed under Donald Trump. The administration is set to impose new targeted tariffs on some key sectors, including electric vehicles, batteries, and solar equipment. The full announcement is expected to also largely maintain existing levies. An announcement is scheduled for the 14th of May. Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed the reappointment of Mikhail Mishustin as the Prime Minister. Now, the State Duma is expected to approve the decision. In the month of March, Russia went to the polls in which Vladimir Putin won another 6-year term. A career bureaucrat, Ms. Mishustin has been credited with keeping Russia's economy afloat after Western nations hit the country with sanctions over its conflicts with Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissed the head of the State Guards on Thursday after 2 members were accused of plotting to assassinate him. Ukraine's State Security Service said it had caught 2 men, colonels in the State Guard service, accused of plotting the assassination of President Zelensky and other top officials. The security service said the men were recruited by Russia's Federal Security Service. Russia is, however, yet to comment on this incident.
Russia started a new wave of offensive actions at this direction. Ukraine met them with our troops, brigades and artillery. It is important to understand that they can increase and bring more forces at this direction. It is a fact, but our military and military commanders were aware of it and considered its force in order to meet the enemy with artillery fire.
Now, DDI correspondent Megumi Lim gives us more update on this from Kyiv.
First of all, this latest assassination attempt against President Zelensky is nothing new. President Zelensky has in the past revealed that the SBU security service had notified him of previous attempts, and so far that he has said that there's been more than 10 assassination attempts against him. Just last month, the SBU said that they had arrested a Polish man who had offered to help Russia and plot an assassination against Zelensky. Now, these attempts, however, have not deterred Zelensky from being out and about. He's not someone who hides in his bunker all the time. He has continued to take great risks. For example, he is someone who has visited positions along the front lines many times. And as we know, he has also traveled abroad on numerous occasions. And these movements come with very high risks. And so it goes without saying that it is of utmost importance for Zelensky to surround himself with people that he fully trusts. And so this latest dismissal of the head of a state protection department, it doesn't come as a surprise. And it came quite quickly, just 2 days after this assassination plot was uncovered.
Now, Russian forces have tried to break through the border into Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region with armored vehicles as Kyiv is sending reinforcements to tackle the breach. Ukrainian authorities have stepped up evacuations of civilians from the region amid intense Russian shelling. Earlier, a Russian oil refinery was set ablaze during a Ukrainian drone attack. Ukraine also claimed to have destroyed all drones launched by Russia in an overnight attack. And DD India's Dasha Turnishova has more on this. Take a listen.
Well, yet to hear from the Russian Ministry of Defense regarding these latest developments. However, earlier in the day, the so-called underground movement was quoted by the Russian RIA Novosti news agency as saying that the Russian military have been carrying out attacks against the warehouses of the Western ammunition in Kharkiv itself, as well as in the Kharkiv region. We also get in some reports about the intensification of attacks on this direction from the military reporters. But again, in the latest briefing by the Russian Ministry of Defense, there hasn't been any indication of that. They have said, however, that over the past week they have taken under the Russian control the two villages in the area. This is the village of Katerovka as well as Kislovka, and they also been talking about the advancements of the Russian armed forces on the Donetsk direction as well. Now, we understand that over the past week the Russian Ministry of Defense has carried out 27 group strikes using high-precision weapons, including Kinzhal hypersonic missiles against the energy facilities of Ukraine, as well as the military-industrial complex of the Ukrainian armed forces. This is, again, to achieve what Russia calls demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine, the stated goals of Russia's operation in Ukraine. They also say at the Ministry of Defense that over the past week they have repelled 64 counterattacks by the Ukrainian armed forces. In the meantime, we understand that there have been several attacks by the Ukrainian armed forces against the Russian territories, particularly Belgorod and Belgorod region. This is where only this morning we've heard about numerous attacks by the Ukrainian drones that have been repelled by the Russian armed forces. So all in all, we understand that the conflict is ongoing, but about the developments on the Kharkiv direction, we are yet to hear the confirmation from the MOD.
Now, China has demanded that the Philippines allow Chinese diplomats to perform their duties in the country normally after Philippines' National Security Advisor called for Chinese embassy officials to be expelled. The advisor cited an alleged leak of a call between a Chinese diplomat and a Filipino admiral discussing a dispute over the South China Sea. According to the call's transcript that was published by the local media, the admiral agreed to concessions to China. The developments come as US and Philippines conclude a joint military drill. Now, Britain's economy has experienced its largest growth in 3 years in the first quarter of 2024, providing a much-needed boost to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak ahead of the elections. The UK fell into recession at the end of 2023 after shrinking for 2-3-month periods in a row. Now, as per the National Statistics Office, the economy grew by 0.6% from January to March, which is the fastest rate for 2 years. However, Britain has still had one of the slowest recoveries from the effects of the coronavirus pandemic among major advanced economies. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Friday announced that the government would hold a parliamentary inquiry to look into the negative impacts of social media platforms. Albanese said that the social media platforms have significant reach and control over what Australians see online with almost no scrutiny. The government has criticised social media platforms for not being quick enough to remove violent posts and seek more oversight over content posted on Meta's Facebook, ByteDance's TikTok, and Elon Musk's owned X. Now, in the wake of the deteriorating economic situation, tensions are rising in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir as the Pakistani administration has been deploying troops from Punjab province to suppress the ongoing protest in the region of dozens of protesters who expressed their outrage. Denouncing the state brutality, right activists decried state-sponsored violence by Pakistani federal authorities as a tactic to enforce Section 144 and a prelude to quell protests scheduled for the 11th of May outside the Legislative Assembly in Muzaffarabad. It's now time to take a short break here on DD India Live, but still to come. Campaigning for the fourth phase of election picks up pace as the country gets set to poll in the fourth phase on the 13th of May. Char Dham Yatra commences with the opening of portals of Kedarnath Shrine today onwards. And Chennai Super Kings all set to take on Gujarat Titans in IPL today.
Phase 4 of the world's largest democratic elections across 96 seats in 10 states and union territories. We track the states from the south and eastern regions of India. How are the political battle lines drawn as the summer just gets hotter? Catch all the buzz as we analyze the seats that go to polls in Phase 4 in this region on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live with me, Deepika. And now it's time to get you the latest on the world's largest democratic elections in India. Campaigning for the fourth phase of Lok Sabha elections for the 13th of May gains momentum as political bigwigs battle it out. 96 Lok Sabha seats in 10 states will go to the polls under the fourth phase of Lok Sabha elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a rally in Mahabubnagar in the South Indian state of Telangana. Earlier, while addressing a public meeting in Nandurbar in the western Indian state of Maharashtra, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched a scathing attack on Congress. Prime Minister cornered the Grand Old Party on various issues including Ayodhya Ram Temple.
ये राम के देश में राम मंदिर को देश विरोधी बता रहे हैं। ये तुष्टीकरण के लिए सरकारी इफ्तारी करने वाले लोग, ये आतंकवादियों की कब्रों को संवारने वाले लोग, ये हम सबके प्रभु राम और जिनका राम मंदिर जहां हम जाते हैं उस राम मंदिर जाने को देश विरोधी बता रहे हैं।
Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah addressed a public meeting in Kunti in the state of Jharkhand. He also campaigned for BJP's candidate Arjun Munda for the upcoming polls. Senior BJP leader and Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also held a public meeting in Dumka. BJP National President JP Nadda held a roadshow in Haryana's Panchkula. The 10 Lok Sabha seats in the state will vote on the 25th of May. Now, during an interview with the private news channel of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed several issues and made significant statements regarding corruption and governance in India before the year 2014. In the interview, Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserted his commitment to take legal action for returning the allegedly looted money to the victims of Bihar's Land for Jobs scam.
बिहार का मामला है। जब लालू प्रसाद जी रेलवे मिनिस्टर थे तो उनका आरोप है कि जिन लोगों को नौकरी दी बदले में जमीन ले ली है और मामला सीबीआई में चल रहा है, मतलब कि प्रूफ्स आर अवेलेबल। तो मेरा आग्रह रहेगा, मैं वकीलों से सलाह ले रहा हूँ कि जो बच्चे नौकरी पाने के लिए जमीन खोई है अपनी पैतृक संपत्ति है, वो अब मजबूरी में उन्होंने दे दी, मैं चाहूंगा कि जमीन उन बच्चों को वापस मिले।
Samajwadi Party National President Akhilesh Yadav and Congress MP Rahul Gandhi held a joint public meeting in support of INDIA bloc candidates at the GIC ground at Kannauj in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Earlier, both the leaders held a joint rally for the assembly elections. Addressing the rally, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi expressed hope that the INDIA will win big in the upcoming elections.
मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं 250 रोको 400 रोको 1000 रोको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है जितनी रोकनी है रोको यहां पे इंडिया गठबंधन की जीत होगी अखिलेश यादव की जीत होगी और उत्तर प्रदेश में आप देखना इंडिया गठबंधन का तूफान आ रहा है
Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi addressed a public meeting in Amethi in the state of Uttar Pradesh. India's apex court granted interim bail to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal for 21 days till the 1st of June. The national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party has been asked to surrender on the 2nd of June, a day after the polling for the 7-phased parliamentary elections will end. Kejriwal was arrested on 21st of March by Enforcement Directorate in alleged Delhi liquor policy scam. India's Vice President Jagdeep Thankar offered prayers at Ram Temple in Ayodhya in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh. During his visit, the Vice President will participate in the Aarti at the Saryu Ghat. This is his first visit after the consecration ceremony of Ram Lala at Ram Temple in Ayodhya that took place on the 22nd of January. The 22nd Convocation and Award Ceremony of National Board of Examinations in Medical Science was held in New Delhi. It would be held in New Delhi on Friday. President Draupadi Murmu attended the convocation ceremony as the chief guest. She told the gathering that you must be having a feeling of serving humanity since you chose the medical profession. The Char Dham Yatra commences with the opening of portals of Kedarnath shrine today with worship and Vedic chanting. The portals of Kedarnath Dham, one of the 12 Jyotirlings of Lord Shiva, were opened for the devotees on the auspicious occasion of Akshay Tritiya. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami was present along with numerous pilgrims at the holy shrine during the opening ceremony of the temple. The celebration of Akshay Tritiya is in its full fervour across India. People took holy dip in various rivers of the country on the auspicious occasion. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also greeted the countrymen and he said, I quote his statement here, Akshay Tritiya is a very auspicious day in Odisha and for the great Odia culture. This is the day when the making of chariots begins for the Rath Yatra of Mahaprabhu Sri Jagannath. It is also closely linked with Akhimuthi Anukula when farmers start sowing seeds. May the blessings of Mahaprabhu Sri Jagannath always remain upon us. Unquote. Now, India will participate at the 77th edition of Cannes Film Festival from the 14th till the 25th of May. It is a special year for India as the country will host a Bharat Parv at the world-renowned festival. The Bharat Pavilion has been designed by Ahmedabad's National Institute of Design and has been christened the Sutradhar for depicting this year's theme of Create in India. An Indian film, All We Imagine Is Light by Payal Kapadia, is in the competition after 30 years. The corporate Indian delegation consists of representatives from Government of India, state governments, members of the industry, and will also showcase India's creative economy in the fest. The official poster and trailer of the 55th Indian International Film Festival, or IFFI, to be held in Goa in November, will also be unveiled at the Bharat Parv. And on to sports now. A top official of the Indian Cricket Board says that impact player rule in the Indian Premier League could be re-evaluated after 2024 edition. BCCI Secretary Jay Shah said that the rule was introduced as a test case and it could be reviewed if stakeholders wish to do so. The rule has significantly impacted the current edition, with teams exceeding the 250-run barrier multiple times. Players, coaches and analysts have all pointed out that it allows teams to have prolonged batting lineup, giving unfair treatment to the bowlers. The team batting first has luxury to field 7 specialist batters and then bring in a specialist 6th bowler by swapping a batter in the bowling innings. It is a vice versa for the team chasing. The Board of Control for Cricket in India is now set to invite applications for new head coach of the men's cricket team before T20 Cricket World Cup. BCCI Secretary Jay Shah said that an advertisement to hire a new head coach will be released soon. Well, Rahul Dravid's current contract with the BCCI as the head coach of the Indian team runs out at the end of the June month. So India will take part in T20 Cricket World Cup in West Indies and USA that begins on the 2nd of June. Shah confirmed the new head coach will be offered to take charge till the ODI World Cup in 2027. Staying on cricket, Gujarat Titans will host reigning champions Chennai Super Kings in the 59th match of IPL in Ahmedabad on Friday. The home team is going through a rough patch, winning just 1 out of their last 5 matches. Skipper Shubman Gill has had a poor run, scoring just 67 runs in the last 5 matches. On the other hand, Chennai Super Kings is coming into the clash with 2 victories out of their last 5 games. Chennai Super Kings skipper Ruturaj Gaikwad, who is just 1 behind the orange cap holder Virat Kohli, will look to add more runs to his tally and give his team a good break. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika Mehta, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.